focus of the heliocentric model. In other words, there's a reason why they're focusing on it. And some people will say, well, the reason why they have the heliocentric model is so that it just basically solidifies the lie. But is it really just that, or is it, David and Jaron, can it be based in an esoteric theology, a belief system, if you will, that really has nothing to do with science? I know, Jaron, you've many times have done videos on this where it's a religion, it's not real science. So when we talk about the sun, and we talk about the sun being the focal point of the heliocentric model, we revolve around the sun, and everything is about the sun and the many suns, the stars throughout the cosmos. Is it theology? I mean, is it really a religion at the end of the day? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that the whole veiled religious beliefs that they have is essentially, like you said, masked astrotheology, that the sun is the life giver. I mean, it's no accident that the Son of God is the same sounding as the sun in the sky, that, Jesus is the sun, and the sun, it's the same thing. And when you talk about the Lucifer, the light bringer, a lot of people think that the Masons and things like that worship Lucifer or the devil, but really what they're doing is they've just kind of fooled people, and they worship the sun, the light bringer, and just all the things that Jesus does. When you talk about the sun walks on water, if you kind of picture the sun setting in the way that reflection is in the water, there's a lot of things that mirror the actual sun in the sky versus the sun in the Bible, the Son of God. So, I do think that they do worship the sun, the sun god. I mean, just when you look at Israel, and which is just a separation of Ra, El, Isis is the light bringer, and Ra is the sun, and El is God. So it's like the wisdom bringer, the son of God. We are the people. That's what Israel is. That's where it got that name, and why they think that they're God's people. So, I mean, if that's what you're asking, it's pretty clear. A lot of people have shown that the Bible is just or not just but inside the Bible is a masked story of the zodiac.
It's astrotheology, yeah.
Right. You can go through each of the houses and go through each of the 12, and it's kind of a story of Jesus's life. So yeah.
Okay, so that was a clip from a interview with Sophia Smallstorm, Sage of Key, however you say it, and David Weiss and Jaron from a few days ago. And it was a really good interview for the most part. I listened to it and was really enjoying it, of course, until it got to this point. And honestly, I've been wanting to do something about just this whole astrotheology issue for some time. And then listening to this again only just pressed it again. And so for the last few days, I've been meaning to do something on this, and I've started writing a little bit and trying to put something together, and it just kind of wasn't coming together for whatever reason. So I was starting to get a little frustrated. But then, interestingly enough, yesterday evening, I find this email in my inbox, subject line, "My Flat Earth Testimonial." And I just want to read this for you guys, because how cool is this? I could just kind of see God's timing with all of this, and just what better way to address a topic than as it ties into somebody's own powerful testimony. So it's a little long, but absolutely worth listening to. It starts out just by saying, "This is true in its entirety. I was born a Catholic, but my parents were attending a Baptist church in my early teens. I was raised to always believe in Jesus, and my grandmother was very religious and prayed with her rosary daily. I've always questioned the existence of God. Always. The Big Bang Theory was not possible in my opinion, if God was real. And since I was being force-fed the idea of the Big Bang Theory, I quickly turned away from his existence. Deep down inside, I knew, but at the same time I still doubted my belief and his existence. It never stopped me from talking to him, regardless of whether I knew if anyone or anything was listening. Then one day around 2008, someone told me about the 9/11 conspiracy. No details, just that it was an inside job and I should watch a video. This brought me onto Zeitgeist, the movie. While it was very interesting and it blew my mind on epic proportions, the first half of the movie talks about religion and pretty much states that it's all a fabricated story and personified the act of the sun rising and setting. Dark versus light, evil versus good. And how we've mistaken God's Son, S-U-N, for God's Son, S-O-N. This was hard for me to believe because I don't know if S-U-N and S-O-N have the same sound in ancient languages like they do in English. Since I am multilingual and I know that sol is the sun in Spanish and hijo is the other kind of sun in Spanish, and they don't sound anything alike. So it would be impossible for us to mistake it. This is when my journey down the rabbit hole began. I had a lot of trouble with the Zeitgeist view on religion. Ever since then, I've been heavily into conspiracy theories, but I first started with paranormal investigation. This was a way for me to prove to myself that if ghosts were real, then God had to be also. While I most definitely experienced what I felt were paranormal encounters, in 2011 my grandmother died, and this caused me to start praying more. I had a dream about being held captive in the White House by tall human-like people, but did not quite resemble humans. In the same exact dream, I saw a weather modification machine. I don't know how I knew that that's what I saw, because it was like a disco light in the middle of the room. But it had images of weather. The dream was clearly very distorted, but I was able to decipher that the government was capable of weather modification. Then I discovered HARP. This blew my mind a bit because I felt like I had had a type of prophetic dream. Moving forward, I went deeper down the rabbit hole, and I came to realize that every conspiracy theory I came across led me to the Bible, the Vatican, or Freemasonry. This really had me praying, however I still hadn't picked up a Bible to read. Still I prayed and asked God for signs. I asked God for signs all the time. However, I'm not sure how long it took, I just know that one day I was alone and just randomly shouted out loud, "Enoch!" At this time I had no idea who or what Enoch was. Nor did I know if it was even a word. One of my friends called me Eno for short, so I brushed it off as just me adding a CH to the nickname I was given years ago by a friend. I'd have to say that the same week I was browsing YouTube for videos, and I read a video entitled The Book of Enoch, the story for this generation, or somewhere along those lines. I ignored it at first, but then quickly realized what I had just read after moving to another page, and I was frantically hitting the back button to watch the video. I was blown away. Had God given me a sign? I frantically proceeded to read the Book of Enoch myself because I didn't want to trust the video. What if the video was editing scriptures from the Book of Enoch? So I wanted to read it from the source. I searched the Bible to read it only to realize it wasn't in the Bible. I was really confused, and then it hit me. All this time I forgot to research the Bible, and clearly books had been left out. This was alarming for me. However, I was still fighting demons from my paranormal research, or so I think. I still continued my research, but I also fell into hard financial times and possibly even dark times. I learned something from being briefly in the entertainment business, that selling your soul gives results. The problem is that I was playing both sides. God gave me the name for my business. I was unaware that God gave me the name for my business at the time, but I clearly recall saying, "God, please let me think of a good name," and He delivered. Regardless, I tried selling my soul, and it started to work, and my business was gaining a lot of attention. My spiritual journey wasn't over yet, and I was still holding on to Jesus, so again, it's like I was trying to play both sides. Then I found a Flat Earth video. Unfortunately, the first one I found was by Eric Dubé, his 200 proofs, but regardless, he had me at the flat horizon line. My jaw was on the floor. I could not believe what I was watching, and it made so much sense. This was after I had learned all about Freemasonry, and shortly discovered that all the Freemasons that have influenced society over the years, including Copernicus and the heliocentric model. I was absolutely blown away. I said, "No way can this be true." I must digress at this point. I was yet to actually pick up a Bible and read it. Then I asked God, I truly prayed, "Okay, God, I need to hear this from you. Is the earth flat? What is going on? Because this is insane. Please help me." And then I heard it. It wasn't an audible voice. It was a little voice inside my head. "Read the Bible." I answered, "Wait, what? Read the Bible? Where do I start?" The voice. "Just start from the beginning." Me. "I have to read the whole thing? Can't you just tell me where the answer is without having to read the entire Bible?" The voice. Just read the beginning and you'll have your answer. At this point, I felt like I was going to be reading chapter after chapter until I got my answer. My jaw dropped past the floor as I was absolutely blown away to find my answer within the first 20 verses of Genesis. I could not believe what I was reading. This gave me so much hope, and I instantly began to repent. I begged for forgiveness and mercy. I begged God to fully cleanse my soul, my house, and all my surroundings from all that is evil. I begged Him to take away all that is evil, so that when all is gone, what I have left is of God. This was all taking place early 2016, March to May. On May 3rd, my utilities were shut off. I was without utilities, no electricity or water, for over 120 days, the entire summer, as my company began to produce less and less. Parentheses, the devil stopped delivering. I still have my cell phone, so I kept watching YouTube videos exposing truth. On Sunday, May 8th, Mother's Day, my wife and kids stayed at her mom's house. I slept in an empty house that night, with no utilities. I was woken up about 4 a.m. because something picked me up out of bed and started to pull me towards the window. I was on the second floor. I prayed to Jesus. I knew I was being lifted by something truly evil. I was the only one in the house. The power of Christ compels you. In Jesus' name I command you to stop, I said, as I have one hand on the wall next to the window and the tip of one foot barely on the bed trying to keep myself from going out the window. I was literally floating. Then I was let go, and I just laid back down and went to sleep. There is no way that this was a dream because I woke up due to being lifted out of bed. I felt that the devil was trying to punish me for turning to Jesus and God. Regardless, the flat earth is what really brought me back to Jesus and God. This is not to say that God was trying to tell me that electricity and clean running water is evil, but the system that controls it all is evil. And this I already knew. He was just confirming it for me. Hence why I'm back on the grid. 120 long days of summer, but at the same time it was one of the most peaceful times in my life. I read a lot of the Bible and rediscovered my love of nature. When it comes to Eric DeBay's belief about the weird God that split himself into multiple beings because he was bored, yeah, I see right through that garbage. He is part of the illusion, and he is the reason why some would say Flat Earth is a satanic lie, because he is promoting both the Flat Earth and a satanic lie. I don't know the truth for sure because we've all been brainwashed into believing it's round. However, God and Jesus both tell me it's flat, and so do my eyes and experiences with the earth. We can only hope that we're right. Flat Earth brought me so far away from the piece of crap known as Satan. Straight up, it is because of the Flat Earth and the picture Genesis paints that has brought me back to Jesus like never before. Many experiences certainly helped bring me to God, but the Flat Earth was the icing on the cake. Whoever says that Flat Earth brings people to Satanism is a straight-up liar. This is my story, my testimonial. It is true in its entirety. Hope it wasn't too lengthy for you. I want to share my name, but at the same time I don't. And that's okay. He doesn't have to. There it is.